I wanted people. I didn't want to say that so we can make each other look like we superheroes, but I just wanted to make it real because a lot of people feel like that it's a different situation for the next dude.
No.
And not to say that everybody's problems are the same because some people's are, but if this is what you want to do, you got to just cut out the excuses.
Yep.
Like at some point, you're gonna have to cut out the excuses. If you know you got limited time to be with your kids, like he said, you need to make sure that time you're present with them and that time counts. Because if he could be with them for 8 hours a day, I'm sure he would choose to do that. But the hours that he has to maximize those hours so they can count.
Don't settle for a thing. This message for the royal blooded who feel they supreme. I'm about that action. Watch me do it. Set a goal, then I attack it. Watch me do it. Grind, then I make it happen. Watch me do it. If I want it, I can have it. Man, watch me do it. You can watch me do it. Watch me do it. Man, you can watch me do it. Watch me do it.
Yo. Welcome back to another episode, man, of the Create the Culture podcast. Big dog. CTC talking to you. Of course, I got the co-host, DJ P Smooth. What it do, man? You good?
What's poppin'?
And you know you got all the ladies' favorite, man. Skywalker's in the building. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, bro. We done tried to put this wardrobe together every episode. Skywalker been murking us, bro. I don't know where it's coming from, but at some point I need a clothing sponsor.
It's Skywalker, man. It's Skywalker.
Walker is going crazy, man. Man, but thank you all for coming back another week, man. Chilling with the cool guys. This week, man, I don't know. It was just on my spirit because I was having a conversation with my homegirl. And it was a normal conversation about, the stuff everybody want to do. I dropped a video on Instagram telling people, look, we ain't had no more ideas. I don't want to know about no more ideas in 2024. If we ain't going to do it, cancel it.
Yeah.
And that conversation, it steered us in a direction of just debating, time. Because she was just like, look, I want to do all this stuff, but I ain't got the time to do it. And we've all been there. I've been there myself, so I didn't want to, start preaching down at her like I wasn't there at one point. But the reality is where we at now, we all understand that can't be the excuse no more. And I just wanted to bring it to the round table because from our perspectives, it's different ways. I know you're a family man.
Yeah.
You know what it's like to have to work-life balance with your kids, and we're going to talk about that. I know you got a whole lot of stuff going on because you actually working in corporate America, and you still DJing too. And for me, it's just a lot of different things that I do, and at any point in time, I can say I ain't got enough time to do something.
Right.
And I just kind of wanted to chime in on that topic in general, from a broad perspective. And what's your take on people that may feel like, they don't got enough time? Do you feel like that's a true thing, or do you feel like it's something that,
I mean, we all got the same 24. You know what I mean? We all got the same 24.
I love it.
It's just about how you use it, you know? And so that's the main key. You got to use it the right way.
What you think, P?
I ain't gonna lie. Anytime I put myself on a schedule, like a time schedule, I'd be surprised how much I get done within 3 hours.
So I'm so glad
When you stick to
said
it. When you stick to it.
When I stick to it, exactly.
Preach.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that because that was going to be my first topic because I like to make it tangible for people. I don't want us to just talk about stuff and they be like, well, then what if you got time, then what are we supposed to do? The first thing from CTC, what I'm going to say is the first thing is that you have to first take accountability in knowing that you got the time that you got, which is scheduling is going to be a big deal to that. Prioritize your day.
Right.
A lot of us, when I say a lot of us, I'm talking about us creators, the people that's in this art world. A lot of us just wake up and just do work as we feel, entitled to do it. And that's another thing. Like, if you're going to only do work when you feel good, you got a problem. And scheduling helps you get away from that. Once you schedule out your day and you say at 7 o'clock every day, let's just say it's hit the gym and it's 7:30 and you're not there, you can mark off yourself for that. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be your own CEO. You have to. If you don't got a 9 to 5 that's going to mark you off for being late, because how many times you got to be late before they tell you that it's going to be a wrap?
Depends if you're in your first 30 days.
Exactly. When you're an entrepreneur, you don't necessarily got that. I call it like the freedom of being a college freshman. You first get to school as a college freshman.
Boy, you just
and
living.
You like, I ain't got to go to class.
Mom and daddy ain't telling me what to do.
Yeah, you like, ain't nobody gonna say nothing if I just stay asleep. And it's like, no, they not. And being an entrepreneur is the same lifestyle. But if you're not gonna hold yourself accountable, you're not gonna start out scheduling your day. And if you want to know how CTC day is, I'm not even the best at scheduling now, but it has saved my life to schedule for real. And I'm gonna encourage you to schedule out your day. I mean, from making up the bed to brushing your teeth,
everything.
to working out. If you decide to work out, what time you gonna eat breakfast? Crunch all that stuff down and eliminate a lot of the time. I mean, that you say that you don't got, and you're gonna see, like P Smooth said, you're gonna be so shocked at how much time you actually got to do the stuff that you want to do. Now, whether or not you're gonna actually do it within that time, that's between you and how bad you want whatever it is you're chasing after.
Yep.
And that's a whole nother discussion. I want you to kind of hit on the family work life, because me and P Smooth don't know nothing about it. I ain't gonna lie, we don't.
Yeah.
But I know it's fathers out there, it's mothers out there,
for sure.
They still got his dreams.
Right.
You may have been slipped up, got you a kid, and now you feel like the world over. And even coming from me, I don't have no kids yet, but if I am, I don't want to have the thought process that my whole life is over. So what tangible things do you do? What type of practices do you have as a father? Because you're an excellent father at that.
Appreciate
give it
that,
up
man.
for the black
Appreciate
father.
Appreciate that.
Because he's
man.
the current active father,
Appreciate
man.
that.
What are some of the things that you do and practices that you got to keep you sane?
So honestly, like you said, for one, getting a kid, especially when you're in this realm, in this entertainment world, creative world, entrepreneur world, period. Young, especially if you're young.
Yep.
That thought definitely comes in your head.
Turn to Plan A.
Yeah, right. That thought definitely comes like, wow, I'm finna have to get this up. I'm finna have to go corporate America. I gotta do what I gotta do to take care of my kid, which is an understandable thought. You know what I mean? But it's definitely. I'm here to tell you, it's not the end all to be all. Like,
there we go.
I've been doing it. I got 3 of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I'm good. But it's definitely you got to plan out a lot of stuff. I'm on a very, very tight schedule, as you guys know. I plan out my day every day, Monday through Sunday. I make sure, though, that I get as much time in with my kids as possible. But in that time that you do get, actually being present in those times. A lot of parents tend to go to work or whatever you're doing, and then when you come home and you have those few hours with your kids, you're not really present. You're in the home, you're there physically, but interacting with them, giving them that time, because that's what's gonna give them as children the reassurance that my mom or my dad, they really got my back. They really here for me. They really love me. They really care about, who my friends are, what I'm going through in school. I want my kids to be able to tell me anything. My daughter especially, she's the oldest out of my bunch. She has no problem coming with dad and telling me about boys, telling me about what her friends talked about this day, or, if it's some drama going on, and me as a parent being able to really instill and nurture into her, you know what I'm saying, from a father standpoint, you know what I mean? And then even my sons, being able to come to me, Dad, I got this going on, or, this guy said this to me, how should I approach this situation? And even, sometimes hopping on the Xbox playing Fortnite, exactly. is something, I go in the backyard, my daughter just started playing volleyball, and I ain't never played volleyball, but I'm out there trying to act like I know something, you know what I mean? Yeah. Just trying to be active in those times, you know what I mean? And that's what really matters. And a lot of parents, we tend to forget that because we get caught up in the everyday hustle and bustle, you know what I mean? And so just being really present as a parent, when you get that time.
Does that time that you spend with them, the first question is, do you ever, are there days you're doing this when you're extremely tired?
Of course.
When you just
I'm talking about dead tired. I take my kids to school every morning. I take them to school every morning. I pick them up every day from school.
Right.
And so I have from the time before they get up, I'm already up. Yep. You know what I mean? Taking them to school, once I drop them off, I go throughout my day, you know, whether it's different meetings, conferences with artists that I'm managing or setting up an event or, you know, whatever I got to do that day up until 2, 3 o'clock. I'm going to get them, coming home, making sure they get something to eat, you know, looking at their folders, helping with homework, you know, whatever we got to do.
Yep.
And then, boom, I'm rushing to get to the event that I got to be at, shoot the podcast or whatever we got to do, you know what I mean? So then I'm not getting home till 12, 1 in the morning. You know, I get a couple hours in maybe, and then I'm right back at it.
Yeah, I wanted people, I didn't want to say that so, you know, we can make each other look like we superheroes, but I just wanted to make it real because a lot of people feel like that it's a different situation for the next dude.
No.
And not to say that everybody's problems are the same because some people's are, but if this is what you want to do, you got to just cut out the excuses. Like you, at some point, you're going to have to cut out the excuses. If you know you got limited time to be with your kids, like he said, you need to make sure that time you're present with them and that time counts. Because if he could be with them for 8 hours a day, I'm sure he would choose to do that. But the hours that he has to maximize those hours so they can count. And that's what I want to move it over to you, Peace Move, and continue to talk about making those hours count. When you started the schedule, because I know me and you actually was chopping it up about how important scheduling was, because for me, the little growth that I've seen over the past 3 years as brothers, I was just like, dude, look, to be real, like what it was for me was the scheduling. And I didn't really know how to teach you, you know, how to do it or tell you. I just knew the scheduling showed me how much time I had. I want to know about your experience. I think I never asked you, like, how that, you know, when that adjustment changed, when did you start seeing the changes, and when it started to matter to you?
Man, so the idea came from just kind of just going through life just like willy-nilly, you know what I'm saying? As creatives, we create without limitations. And sometimes you feel like having a schedule limits you. And it kind of does, but it's really for the better. Like, I had a deep conversation with Skywalker, like, man, I'm seeing you and my other partners with kids and still doing the same stuff that I'm doing, and it's like I'm not utilizing my time right. So it's like, you know, I had to sit down and, you know, having our conversation that we had CTC, like I got to sit down and look at the schedule. Like, I thought about previous days of my life, like when was I most successful? And it was when I had some type of structure around me, you know what I'm saying? And when you get an adult, when you become an adult, you don't have those people in your life sometimes that's gonna keep you accountable for that structure. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of had to force myself to do the scheduling. And honestly, bro, that was like the best thing that could ever happen. Like, you know, before I tore my Achilles, I was on that schedule. I was working out, eating right. Everything was on a schedule. And, you know, that was probably like the most weight I ever lost. You know what I'm saying? The best I ever felt, you know. And I was just telling my girl the other day, like, man, I got to get back. I got to readjust my new schedule because I just picked up a job. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, this week was definitely a test to the scheduling, and I'm still adding stuff to the schedule. Like, now I know, like, I don't have to be at work until 10, so I can go work out for 20 hours at 7:30.
So stay right there, because I actually wanted you to give the people. You don't gotta give me exactly what you're doing. It ain't like, you know what I'm saying, come holler at me because I'm gonna be here at this time. But I want you to give people just like a rough, I mean, it ain't gotta be nothing to extreme detail, but just a rough schedule. But that person out there that don't got no clue, because then you know we know them. They just out here operating, they on the Xbox all day long, and they make money the last 3 days of the month so they can pay rent, and that's it. Like, we was those guys at some point. I remember this. I'm not I'm not shaming nobody that's doing it, because at one point it was me. I was on 2K. I would have towed you up all day. And I'm not saying that 2K is bad. I'm just saying I didn't turn on the hustle until I knew rent was coming. But we've got to get out of that habit, because there's so much more money, there's so much more potential and time for you to be spending in more impactful ways.
More life. More life.
Yeah, like it's more life. To be real. Yeah, it's more life out there. And we never gonna get to it if we don't know how to prioritize. So I want you to give people like a small little sample of like what your schedule might look like.
Okay, well, My personal schedule, I came up with it based on what I wanted to do and what my goals were.
There we go. That's the first start.
Yeah,
Y'all hear that? That's a key.
And then I prioritize.
Mm-hmm.
And I be realistic with myself, like what mindset I am in different times of the day.
Yep.
So I'm not gonna do any creative work in the morning.
Hello.
So when I wake up, I meditate, get some tea, and I enjoy, my favorite pastime.
How important is that part right there for you?
I ain't gonna lie, like that really affects my energy throughout the whole day. Like if I don't meditate, like my day is off.
Gems. I'm gonna get to it. Keep going.
Like my day is off. Like, and that's another thing too. You're gonna realize when you put yourself in a schedule, when you fall off, it really mess up your whole day. So that's gonna motivate you to keep going with the schedule.
Yes.
So now I'm incorporating, starting next week, I'll be incorporating the gym time. So meditation from 7 to 7:30, go to the gym, 7:30 to 8:30. Then 8:30 to 9:30, just kind of getting ready for my day job. Get off around 7, and whatever entrepreneurial responsibilities I have as far as like content creation, flyers, DJ mixes, download music, just listening to music, just stay updated. That's what I do at night. Cause that's where my creative juices really get to flowing. Cause we are pretty much night owls, so y'all know how that go. Like, and I try to make it to bed by 12, no later than 1, so I can wake up at least get 6 hours of sleep. I know the recommended is 8, but I know I can function to be straight with 6.
There we go.
And that's only because I'm also eating better as well too. So, you gotta schedule stuff for your health, and that's very important. Because this week I've been eating some BS, and when I say my schedule was so hectic with these extra gigs, I had work and then 2 gigs right after work, and then having to wake up that next morning. I could really tell that I'm not as healthy as I need to be because my energy was completely depleted. Like completely depleted. And if y'all know me, y'all know my terrible car accident was due to lack of sleep, and lack of energy because of my lack of health.
I love that you kept it. So you just said so much right there that could help a whole lot of people. And I hope y'all like taking notes. I hope y'all like not just watching this to be kicking it with us, but we really just trying to get y'all the game that we wish somebody would have told us at some point. And I want to stay right where you at, because you said your first step was to identify what it is you want to do and what's going to be required of you to get to where you want to go. That's the first step, people. You got to figure out. You got to have a motive. If you don't have a reason as to why you want to change and adjust stuff, there's no reason to do it. I mean, you can stay on the Xbox, you can stay on Facebook, Instagram, and doing all that stuff. But if you got a reason, then you got to start. And that reason is what's going to give you the other practices, because you knew what you wanted to do. And I don't want you to have to tell nobody, but there is a formula to how you want to live. If you want to be a manager, there's X, Y, and Z you need to execute before you even consider yourself in that realm. Radio personality, comedian, host, whatever. Same thing here. And the same thing for you. DJ, multimedia, if you want to be in entertainment in any form of fashion, there is a guideline that you have to reach, and you can start there. So you do want to have a goal in mind. Once you get that goal, then you prioritize. Then you start with the day. And I'm giving you these things step by step, so you can't say we didn't tell you what to do.
At least when it gets started.
Then you start with the day, and that's where I want to go. And I know me and Walker for sure finna chime in on this.
For sure.
But you mentioned how you meditate. And how that just starts off everything, and it's that's what helps you. Me and my girl definitely was talking at the moment when I lost the 80 pounds. It was a lot. Man, the thing that I did every day trickled everything else down. And it was like that first positive decision, what it was. And I remember I told you too, it was making up my bed. It started with making up my bed. And from there, I learned to do that when we was all thugging it in the same crib. I was doing that when we all thugging in the same crib. Like, we make this bed up every day. I ain't got to worry about nothing else. That's just the first decision I want to do. I want to learn how to execute one positive thing as soon as I wake up. A lot of us, we get on the phone, and the first thing we start seeing is negative tweets and negative posts. And you're filtrating your mind when you do that. So I'm going to tell you, to stay away from the phone in the morning.
Yep.
At least give yourself an hour to get away from the phone. Drink some water, room temperature. Just get you a cup. If that's simple for you, do that every day for as long as you can. And then you're going to start learning how to be consistent within your schedule. But drinking a green drink for me was the thing I did. Reading books I started to do because I was just like, what else could I do? If I can't read tweets, what can I read? And so I started to read books. I started to see some of these same effects that you seen. Like, man, my life is thinking better.
Right.
Stuff is running smooth.
Everything is different.
It's flowing. It's powerful to do that. Walker, I want you to tell us how important or at what point did you notice that messing up your schedule messed up everything for you?
Shoot. Once you get used to your schedule. So you can make your schedule out. You can figure out how you're going to prioritize it. We talking about consistency and all of that. But all of that falls into play about 2 to 3 weeks into your schedule. Because that's kind of when you start forming a habit. You know what I mean? And you start getting in the motion of being used to this schedule.
Right.
And so when you fall off, especially when you fall off on the first 1 or 2 things on your list, if you missing that, that's going to affect the rest of the day. It really is. So it's really crucial to stick to it. If you think about it, I'm going to hit on it real quick. Everything that we're talking about, all of that is fine and dandy, but none of this will work if you don't have discipline. You got to have discipline. If you think about all the greats, entertainment, sports, whatever it is, business, every one of them had discipline. If you think about the millionaires, the billionaires, they all had discipline to get to where they at. But they also had consistency. They also prioritized their day. I mean, you think about Tom Brady. He was on an interview one time and he talked about his whole week is the same every week. From the time he gets up to the time he goes to bed, when he eats, when he works out, everything is the same. And that's why he is the GOAT. You know what I mean? And so if you want to be great at anything, you got to have discipline to start it all out. You can do all of that stuff, and all of that is cool. But if you don't have the discipline, ain't none of it going to work.
That's a fact. And I'm so glad you said that because, before we started recording, we was chopping it up about the podcast I was checking out, and I was listening to the guys mentioning the consistency. And when you say it, it's just even more crazy, and it all came together. But you know how they always mention, like, when you got coaches when you're growing up, they like, we all put our shoes on the same way. They got the same opportunity that you got. You can be just as good as them. And it's crazy because you're absolutely right. Tom Brady wakes up and does the same thing every day. Barack Obama wakes up and does the same thing every day. LeBron James wakes up and does the same thing every day. And as a matter of fact, what's even crazy, you do too. You wake up and do the same thing every day. The problem is what you choosing to do. Because, like I told you, they mentioned, a lot of people say that, my problem is I'm not consistent. They're like, cool, maybe you're not. At one point, I felt the same way before I listened to this phrase. Well, they asked a question that I'm going to bring to the podcast, and I'm going to ask you too. How often do you get on Instagram? How often do you get on Facebook? How often do you text your friends? Like, if you're doing that every day, then consistency ain't your problem. Because you do that every day of your life. And even if you say, well, I don't do none of that. Well, do you eat every day?
You consistent in doing nothing.
Do you ever forget to eat? Do you ever forget to drink?
Facts.
No? Then you don't have a consistency problem. You have a prioritizing what you need to be consistent with problem. And that's going to require discipline. Because it's not fun to do the right stuff. It's not convenient to do the stuff that you need to do. It ain't convenient to wake up every morning and drink a green drink. I'm going to be the first one to tell you, I don't care what health genius or guru try to tell you that this stuff is good. What happens is you know the effects of it and what those benefits do for you, and it becomes to be the new norm for you. You don't do it because it feel good, and that's the last point I want to leave you with on this episode. Get out your feelings.
Facts.
You got to get out your feelings about everything. The choices that you're going to have to make ain't going to feel good. I mean, we all know being comfortable is the worst thing that can happen for you. So you're going to have to become used to being uncomfortable. But the beautiful thing about being uncomfortable is that there's always a positive on the other side of it. And you're not going to ever figure it out unless you challenge yourself to do it. So we're definitely going to require you to get you a schedule, identify exactly what it is you want to do, and then adjust the things that you are prioritizing, being consistent with. You got to have that. That being said, we know we got to get the plugs out the way. Got to be on, bottom.
Got to be on, man.
Shout out to the Be On boy.
Yes, sir. Be On. What up? What up?
Man. Also, DJ P Smooth. What's the website they can check out, bro?
Man, thedjpsmooth.com for
There
all
we
your
go.
P Smooth.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying?
Get all your merch.
Yeah.
All of it, man. Create the Culture Podcast got some new merch out right now.
Hey,
it's on the
go
website.
get it.
VoiceCTC.com. We got the Create the Culture merch. Finally got me a website. Jesus Christ.
Hey, that
we all
boy-
gonna
hey,
challenge
motherfucker.
Skywalker. He next. We all get Skywalker a website
Yeah.
next. The management courses for y'all is coming.
Yeah.
We saying it on the podcast because we are on accountability
For sure,
brothers,
for
man.
sure. Let's
Until
do it.
next time, we gonna see y'all next week. And what we talking about next week?
Man, we are talking about
Look at him, don't even know.
taking action and not hiding in the shadows of feelings.
Love
For
that,
sure,
man.
for
He
sure.
definitely gonna quarterback that episode because
Yeah.
that whole topic is coming from Peace Mode.
Coming straight
We'll
from
see
Peace.
y'all next week, though, all right?
Don't settle for a thing. This message for the royal blooded who feel they supreme. I'm about that action. Watch me do it. Set a goal and I attack it. Watch me do it.